Hey, how's it going, guys? Here with a quick Blender tutorial. I'm going to be showing you how to set up this basic floor plan here. I'm going to try and keep it pretty short and simple. We're not going to be doing anything fancy here, so yeah, here we go. The first thing I'm going to be doing is pressing A and delete. Get rid of that stuff, I don't need it. And then I'm going to press number pad 7 to go in the top view. Press Shift A. I'm going to add in an image and reference. And now I'm going to bring in the blueprint for the floor plan that I'm going to be making. And there you go. And I'll put a link to download the floor plan in the description. So if you want to follow along, you can. And then I'm going to select the floor plan and I'm going to scale it up a little. And if you do want to keep the dimensions exact, then you would want to scale it up to the right size, but I'm not going to worry about that in this video. And then I'm going to come over here to the object data properties for the reference image. I'm going to check the opacity here. And I'm just going to set it to 0.4 so it's not so bright. And then I'm going to go ahead and press Shift A. I'm going to add in a plane. And we're just going to set up the whole thing first in 2D with a flat plane before we even start bringing it into 3D. This makes things a little more simple and less complicated and easier to work with when you're starting out. So now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to get the absolute basic shape for this blueprint. So I'm going to go ahead and scale it up to where it's lined up with the outermost walls here. Move that over on the x-axis. I'm going to go into X-ray mode or wireframe mode. Just try and line it up with the center of the walls in the blueprint. I'm not going to worry about making things too exact. So now that I have that, I'm going to start adding in loop cuts so I can start lining them up with these other interior walls. And I'm going to start horizontally first. So I'm going to keep it in wireframe mode so I can see the blueprint and press Control R. And I'm going to start this one here, line it up, Control R. And that one there. Get that one there. Again. Little wall going here. And then I hope you can see what I'm doing now. I'm just going through, just lining up these loop cuts with all the different little walls. Okay, now that we got all the horizontal cuts in there, we're going to go through and add in the vertical cuts. And just start lining all those up. Okay, I think I got them all. If you missed anything, it's fine. You can go back in and add them later. So basically from here, we're just going to go back through and start deleting the things that we don't need now. And then in this video, I'm not going to worry about making the porches or anything. It's just going to be the interior. So first thing I can do is in face select mode, I can start deleting these outside faces that I don't need. And then X, delete faces. So this is what I've got now. Go ahead and hide that so you can see. So now I just need to go through and start cutting out the actual rooms. Okay, so now I'm just going to start going through and deleting all these different edges that I don't need. And I'm going to hit X and dissolve edges. You want to make sure you do dissolve and not delete, or this will happen. We don't want to delete the mesh, we just want to delete the edges, so make sure you do dissolve. Some of these it's not going to let you delete just quite yet, or it's going to mess up the mesh. For example, this one right here, you can see that if I dissolve those now, it's going to mess it up because it needs those support loops still. So don't worry about those for now if that happens to you. We're just going to start going through and delete what we can for now. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and hide the reference for a second. So I'm going to be going into edit mode now. A to select everything, X, delete, only faces, not faces, only faces. So this will leave all the edges and vertices, which is what we want. And then you're going to notice that there's some extra vertices on some of these edges that we don't need. So we can go through and select those. And X, dissolve vertices. And then in edit mode, we're going to press A, select everything. Let's go ahead and go to front view, number pad 1, and then E, extrude, and Z to extrude on the Z axis. And then I'm going to do it about maybe 2.5 grids high. Doesn't matter, however tall you want your walls to be. I'm going to go ahead and leave it like that. Okay, so now we're actually in 3D. But the only problem is that our walls are lacking any thickness. So we're going to fix that by going into the modifiers tab. Add modifier, generate, and we're going to add in a solidify modifier. Go ahead and make that a 0.2 thickness, And you want to make sure the mode is set to complex so everything's nice and even. And then you also want to make sure that the offset is set to 0. And then you can see that if I add back in the reference, that everything lines up pretty nicely. And maybe I'll make the walls a little thinner, 0.17. Yeah, good enough. So now I can actually go through and delete some of these extra edges that I don't need, that it wouldn't let me delete before. Just make sure you're in X-ray mode so you can select both the bottom and the top edges now that you're in 3D. And then X, delete edges. You're not going to be dissolving the edges anymore, you're actually going to be deleting them. And then this one I can actually bring that back so that wall is there. And then this edge right here, or this wall, go ahead and delete that. This one, go ahead and delete that. I'm actually going to leave that edge there because I need to extrude that back out so I can have that little wall right there. And I'm actually going to change the thickness to be a little bit more thin, 0.15. And then I need to delete this wall, delete. This one right here, delete. And I think that was it. So there you go, we got all the walls set up here. So now I'm just going to be quickly showing you how to easily cut out the walls and the doorways. You can see that it's got it here on the floor plans, the doors, windows, and I'm going to be adding those in using booleans. So we're going to add in a new object, Shift A, make sure you're not in edit mode but in object mode, and we're going to add in a cube, and I'm going to start with the doorways first. I'm going to start with the little front entry right here. So I'm going to edit mode, just move that over. Just line it up. Make it a little smaller. And then I'm going to be making this the height to where I think the door might be. Maybe something like that. And then I'm going to go back to the wall object. And I'm going to add in a boolean. Make sure it's after the solidify or below the solidify. Make sure it's set to difference, and then use the eyedropper to set your object to the cube that we just added. And then that should cause the cube to cut out a hole in the walls for the doors. So if I press H to hide that, there you go. You can see that we have the doorway cut out. So then Alt H to unhide. I'm going to go into edit mode. I'm going to stay in X-ray mode so I can see the blueprint. And then in edit mode, I'm going to press Shift D to duplicate this cube. And then I'm going to use it to cut out the rest of the doorways. I don't want to duplicate it in object mode because I'd rather keep it all as one object. And then I'm going to go ahead and bring it over here. Scale it a little, move it to position, Shift D. Okay, and then lastly, I'm just going to be adding in the garage door down here. Okay, I think that was all the doorways. And then I'm going to go ahead and duplicate one of these doorway cubes. Shift D, move this over here. Scale it out to the right size. And then since these are windows and not doorways, I'm going to select it in front view, the bottom faces, and just bring it up. Maybe about there. So go ahead and hide the object. You can see what we've done so far. Alt H to unhide. Back into edit mode. And then I'm just going to go through and add in the rest of the windows. Okay, I think I got all the windows now. And then I'm going to go and just adjust some of these. So not every window is the same. Like this one is in a bathroom. So I'm going to make this window a little more higher up. Same thing with this one here. Okay, and we're gonna, oh, how'd that one get there? Delete. I'm gonna go ahead and hide all our booleans. Go ahead and hide the blueprint. And yeah, that's it. And I just realized I left this wall right here. Delete that. And I actually need to fill this back in. Dissolve those vertices. F to fill. Whoops. Fill that back in. Looks like I missed a little door there. Little closet door. So that's pretty much it. Go ahead and hide the reference again. Okay, one quick thing before we go. If you don't have a blueprint or a reference or something to go by, you just want to kind of freestyle it. Maybe you want to make your own custom blueprint or just trying to sketch out a level for a video game you're making. You can just go ahead and add in a plane. Go ahead and rotate it on the Y. And then go ahead and add the solidify, mode to complex, offset 0, thickness 0.2, however thick you want the walls to be. And then make sure you're in X-ray mode so you can select both the top and bottom vertices. And then from there, you can start manipulating the walls. Can extrude it. And just keep extruding to make whatever you have in mind. And then when you have something like this, maybe you want to fill in a room. So with these two edges here selected, you can just press F to fill. Now you've got a separate room here. Can keep adding more walls. even bridge the edge loops there, so we have a nice beveled corner. Can really bevel any corner you want, so maybe like that. Make a nice round room. You're only limited by your imagination, really. And yeah, that's pretty much it. So if you enjoyed this video, if you learned something, you found it useful, or if you have any suggestions, let me know in the comments, and I'll see y'all on the next one.